Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful, sunshiny day out there. Puts us in a good mood.
It's extremely hot out. Happy Lammas, everyone.
Right? Or Lunasa, or whatever you call it.
Happy llamas? Is that what you said?
Llamas.
Not llamas,
Okay.
no.
No, not the llamas.
Not the cute little,
I do love
the cute
my llamas.
animals. Not those animals, no. Nope. But yes. Yeah. So we have a great guest coming on today that I'm really excited to talk to.
Am starstruck.
Mary-Grace
So
Fahrun.
excited,
I'm really
yeah.
excited with her book Italian Folk Magic. So we're going to be talking to her about that.
It's a fantastic book.
Yes. As you can see, I have several things marked. So we're going to be having a good discussion about that. Tim Soaring Wolf will be calling in with the Astro Forecast. And yeah, lots of things going on. Leanne and I are getting ready for Hexfest.
Thrilled for Hexfest.
Yeah.
Already packed.
Yes,
Believe it or not, I'm already packing.
I'm in the throes of it because, of course, I'm vending as well. So I have to find space in my suitcases for displays and product and everything. And then I have to figure out what I'm shipping down and what I'm carrying down. And just FYI for everybody, Labradorites look like bombs in the X-ray machine. Found that out the hard way 2 years ago. So just FYI, if you're traveling with your magical stones, you're going to want to, have them sort of out and at the ready for the TSA agents, because it definitely causes a flurry of activity.
No way.
When you leave. Oh, well, see, I had Deb carry some of my stuff because the stones are so heavy.
Good plan.
That we spread them out across everybody's carry-ons.
Just like someone carrying a bomb. How
And
terrifying.
so, and you know how they say that you're not supposed to, you're not supposed to accept a bag from someone that you
Right.
don't know what's in it and all this other stuff. So I get through TSA, no problem. I'm on the opposite side. I'm watching Deb come through, and they stop her, and now they're doing the extra search of her carry-on. And I hear the guy say to her, "What's in this bag?" Because that's, of course, the bag of what he thinks are bombs, right? So then she's like this, like I literally watch her mouth just drop open because she has no idea what I've given her.
I don't know.
So I call over the barrier. They're stones. And the guy's head whips around, and he looks at me like, "What the hell are you answering for?"
Yeah, that's a bad answer. I don't know what I have in my bag.
They're stones.
I don't know what's in that
I don't know what
bag.
that is.
So, oh my God, it was hilarious. Like, it's funny looking back. I'm sure in the moment, Deb didn't find it too amusing, but it was really, it was really funny.
Well, I need
but
all
yeah.
those crystals for when I fly. I'm pretty terrified. I'm not a good airplane.
Neither was Deb.
Oh my goodness, I have crystals in my boobs. I have herbs on my head. I must smell like every holy oil as I chant in the plane, and I drink scotch and go, just stay above. Oh,
Yeah, that must go over big too.
Yeah,
no.
sure, absolutely.
I
always want to start chanting in the plane.
That doesn't make anyone else nervous at all.
Yeah, it is.
I admit I have a flying ritual. I do. I ever since I was a kid, and I
Me
think
too. It's bourbon.
I think well,
Thank
no,
you. That's my
I
ritual as
definitely wasn't doing that as a kid, but before I board the plane, I actually do some magic on the outside of the plane that you can touch. So as you're walking in, and of course I do it with my right hand because that's my projective hand, and so I always do that. And so I always wonder what the people behind me must be thinking, because I'm actually touching the plane, and I'm actually, doing stuff on the plane before I walk into it. And I'm always wondering if people are like, what is this girl doing on the plane? Like, what is she drawing on the plane? But I've done it since Alicia, my BFF from way back, and I were flying to Disney with her mother. We were like, I must have been 13 or 14 years old. And that's when it started. And I've just done it ever since then. So
I start by saying Jesus, then I go God, and then I go Mary, and then I scream Goddess, and then, every time I'm like Buddha, Moses.
You're calling everybody in?
Anyone, just
Who's
on the line?
multi-denominational.
pilot.
Who's on the line?
The pilot. I pray for the pilot and his family and all those good things. But we're psyched.
But anyways, yeah. So we're teaching classes down there, and I'm vending, and it's going to be a blast. And it's just a beautiful, wonderful city to go play in. So we can't wait to do that. And we're going to jump in the pool and
We'll swim
everything because we're all
and
staying
have
at the
some
same
hurricanes.
hotel. We're all staying at the same hotel, so that's going to be super fun. But Leanne, you should lead us with the tarot card because time's ticking.
Time is ticking.
Time's
I forget
ticking.
how this goes by so fast.
That hotel's going to glow in the dark.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
it is.
will.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
going to be
it is.
fantastic. But today we are going to talk about the Sun card, one of my favorite cards, because when it's in its upright position, it is exactly what we're hoping the next month brings. Fun, warmth, success. This is a positive card. This is our vitality. The sun is an image that draws in optimism and fulfillment. See, when you look at this card, I want you to know this is the dawn that follows your darkest night, so this is extremely positive. The sun represents life itself. So as we're entering this month, we're thinking about the sign Leo and all of its fabulous, sparkly qualities. I love my Leos. This is about your happiness and your inner spirit. This is your truest self coming out to play. This child is holding the sun right in his hands, and it just means vibrations of light, bringing forth whatever it is that you want. What are you manifesting? This child comes on the purest, whitest horse. Look at him. He's all naked, and he's naked because he has nothing to hide, and I think that's fantastic.
Major new beginnings.
Yes, major new
beginnings.
beginnings. So when it is negative, when you see the card in its, not being upright in reverse, this talks about depression, about maybe your plans are being stalled. Because the truest nature of the sun is positive development within your life. It talks about successful gain, and when you're asking a yes or no question, this card definitely means yes. And when you're looking at the past, it talks about growing from your past. I would like for everyone to really look at this. Take your life in full fulfillment and know that you bring forth endless possibilities. That's what the Sun card is. And this is the Thoth's version of the card. This is the Robin Wood, and I know a lot of you out there love that Robin Wood deck. And I just love the way it looks. I look at the rays of sun coming from it as inspiration from the Welsh Awen, and I'm going to say, hey, let's get busy. The first harvest is here. What else are you going to grow?
Absolutely.
So
Definitely.
big moves right now?
Some big moves,
Okay.
and to look at all these weird planetary aspects as opportunities, not as something negative. Learn from your past and go forward.
Absolutely. And when I see that card, there's a few different things. It's one of the only cards in the deck that I feel really pertains to birth, like literal birth. There's 78 cards in the deck, and there are maybe 3 of them that if someone's asking me a question about, am I going to be pregnant, or am I pregnant, or, that type of question, am I able to get pregnant, that when that card pops up, it's like perfect, so that's one association, is the fertility aspect. I mean, the sun grows everything here. Without it, the planet would be uninhabitable for us. I mean, the planet would still keep being here, but really
We wouldn't.
our ecosystem wouldn't. So it's like the sun's really integral to our survival here. So it's one of the tarot trumps that really is uber positivity, as she said, but it's also like
Growth.
it's kind of overarchingly huge. When that card shows up, it's like it really rolls out and kind of touches all areas of your life: health, wealth, happiness, love relationships, and it can be a fresh start in all of them. You know, it's the kind of thing that you capitalize on, that energy.
All right, so I'm a bit nervous about a big move right now. Am I good to go?
You are so good to go.
Okay.
This is all about growth. It's the fire in your belly that creates life.
I'm a Leo sitting here on the verge of a big
Ooh, happy birthday time.
And one of our listeners just mentioned that the solar eclipse is in Leo too. How appropriate. I want to bring up some stones for everybody to tap into Virgo's strengths, because Virgo, August 22nd to September 22nd, so you can get a hold of some of these before we come into Virgo's time. As I spoke about Leo last month, Virgo, ruled by the planet Mercury, it's a mutable sign. So this is a sign that loves to adapt, knows how to adapt, how to accept transitions, and how to gracefully accept endings. So sometimes, you know, to get to that great new beginning we were talking about with the sun, you need to gracefully end something. Virgos tend to be flexible and show us how to breathe through changes. So if you're going through a lot of changes, especially with all the planetary stuff that's going on, which I'm sure Tim's going to talk about when he calls in a moment, you can tap into some of the energy of these stones taps into Virgo energy, which helps you because they are a mutable sign. So a lot of people say sapphire is the birthstone of Virgo. A lot of people will bring up sapphire, and if you look it up, it's one of those kind of, like, even as a kid, if you had a birthstone thing given to you, you might have been sapphire for associated with September. To the ancient and medieval world, sapphire signified the height of celestial hope and faith. And like many stones, they believed it brought protection. So when you hear about all these stones in the ancient world, a lot of these gemstones have protection as an attribute, because they carried stones in general to protect themselves and ward off evil. So it's a stone of good fortune and also spiritual insight. It stimulates the throat and third eye chakra, allowing you to access deeper levels of consciousness in order to gain a fuller understanding of self. One of the stones that I really like that's associated with Virgo is Amazonite, and it's a beautiful blue-green stone. It kind of looks, it's reminiscent of the rainforest. I call this the anti-anxiety med of the crystal world.
Okay.
It's definitely the calming, soothing stone for Virgo, especially Virgos are perfectionists. Some of their strengths are efficiency and perfectionism, but those things can also make them very tense. This is a nice calming stone, so wear this on the chest. Very powerful to help release toxic emotions. You can wear this on your chest, so it's nice as a pendant. Lay it right over that heart chakra, or lay the stone itself on your chest when you're doing a healing layout. Another one, green aventurine. This is nicknamed the Stone of Opportunity. It's a good luck charm, and its name is actually derived from the Italian avventura, or all'avventura, meaning by chance. And it refers to the Italian glass from the 1700s that was produced when a worker accidentally dropped metal filings into a vat of melting glass. Once cooled, the result was pleasing with its randomly spaced iridescent sparkles, and therefore it was used to make jewelry and other items. So I thought that was super appropriate considering our guest.
Yes.
Yep. So this stone actually has some history with the Italians, which is wonderful. Another one for Virgo, moss agate, opening up clear communications. I know a lot of people that are struggling with communication during this Mercury retrograde. Opening up clear communication channels, enhancing mental clarity, reducing the harsh judgment of self and others. This is a big one right now.
That would be
That's a big one. This stone can help quiet your inner critic. And also charoite. That's the last stone I want to talk to you about today, helping you connect with your emotions and expressing them better, because we're dealing with communication and expressing emotions. This stone helps you let go of people and situations that are no longer serving you. It's a stone of transformation, of unconditional love, of cleansing, of self-esteem, and grounding. So
It would be time for me to get some of those, especially where I'll be flying.
yes, calming. We need you, honey. We need you in Amazonite. Yes, we do. Do we have Tim on the line?
Yes, we do. Hi, Tim.
Wonderful.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, thank you for having me again. So, I don't know about you all, but I'm feeling a little tired today.
Everybody's feeling it.
Yes, I think it's this Mars retrograde. You know, Mars is the planet of energy and it's still going to be retrograde until August 27th, and energies are just naturally lower during this time. So anyone that's feeling lower physical energies, lower sexual energies, don't worry about it. It's going to pass. This happens every 2 years. But, you know, combined with this Mercury retrograde, I mean, Mercury and Mars are two personal planets. They affect our physical world. They're rock planets, and these two planets are definitely going to be affecting our physical world until the end of this month. Mercury goes direct on the 19th. Mars goes direct on the 27th. So not the best time to be making decisions about things, but this is, you know, so many planets in retrograde. We've also got Saturn. We've got Pluto. We've got, you know, Uranus going retrograde on the 7th. So lots of planets in retrograde. You know, this is the time we want to think of all of our re-words. So the words that begin with the letters R-E. I'm talking about reflect, revise, revisit, replan, reorganize, regroup, refocus, recheck things, you know, all the re-words. We want to do that. Things might reoccur or resurface from our past. This is the time we want to remove our obstacles so we can release energy to the universe to be recycled into new and positive energy. So that's really the main focus for, I believe, this month that we're really feeling. When we can learn to work with the energy of the universe, we can get the most out of it. This isn't a time to run and hide. This is just a shift of energies. You want to try to look at things a little bit differently. And so that's like the main thing. Now, August 7th is we got our 6th planet going retrograde, which is Uranus. And just wanted to mention a couple of things on that, because this is going to be a day we want to watch out in regards to money, relationships, because Uranus is in Taurus right now. But then also Uranus is making a square to Mars, which, you know, that's going to cause a little bit of impatience. That's going to cause a little bit of just a little internal anger coming to the surface a little bit. You know, Mars retrograde is internalizing those fiery energies inward. And so we're looking more at ourselves internally, where we might have failed, where we might have let people down or other people let us down. Well, this is going to come to a head on August 7th. And then, of course, the 11th, you know, we've got the solar eclipse in Leo, as you all just mentioned a little while ago. And, you know, Leo is ruled by the sun. Yes. So, you know, you had the sun card that we were talking about, which is perfect, that goes along with this. And so when we've got the sign that's ruled by the sun having a solar eclipse, you know, the energies are going to be intensified. The new moon is the time of new beginnings. The solar eclipse new moon is kind of like a turbo new moon, where whatever we put into effect is not just going to last with us for the next month, but for like the next 6 months. So we really want to, even though we've got all these retrogrades going, we are feeling the shifts of the energies. And I'm sure many of us this past month have felt in some intense energies with this eclipse season happening. We've had a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. Now we've got the last solar eclipse, the ending of our eclipse season. So all these energies are all intensified. So the one thing about the solar eclipse we want to make sure of is that this is an opportunity for us to gain more knowledge and be able to have a balance between our subconscious and our conscious mind. So we might actually have a peek behind the veil of knowledge that's going to really help us to learn some things. With all these planets in retrograde, I believe the learning is going to probably be something that's going to help us really on a deep level, spiritual level, and psychological level. So those are really a lot of the main transits going on that you can really focus on to add to your life, kind of work with the energies of the universe this month. I wouldn't recommend starting any new projects at all, but to just finish up old projects. If a decision can wait until the end of the month, great. Some things can't wait, and you got to make decisions. But if it can wait, if it's something that's optional, give it to the end of the month if you can, because things might clear up, and especially after the solar eclipse, we're going to start to see things a little differently.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and it was mentioned actually that because we're all, even though we're traveling during Mercury retrograde, we're all returning to Hexfest, so we're actually okay because it's a return trip. And not a brand new, something we've never done. So supposedly
Yes.
we will be in the clear for that.
She
And
wants me
if
to
it's
be
something
calm.
that was planned before the retrograde began, then that's fine because it
Oh,
was
yes.
already pre-planned.
Yeah, so
but-
we've been planning this for quite some time. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
And we'll see you next month.
My pleasure.
This
Thank
is
you so much.
fantastic. I need
Thank
the info.
All right, so we've got Mary-Grace coming on now. Am I right?
She's got to call in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder where she is.
Amongst the planets and the retrogrades.
Among
and all
amongst
the
the
We got the one
things.
line there, so she was
Yeah, there
probably
you go.
calling in while.
Oh, yes, that could be. That could be. Let me just shoot her a message saying, call in
She's got to be watching, doesn't she?
now. I would think.
All right, so give us a preview of her.
She's watching, so she's going to call
She's
in.
gonna be calling in,
she got
yeah.
my message. She got it.
Oh,
She got it. Yay.
fantastic. I love her book.
Oh, yeah.
I'm blown away.
I'm pouring through stuff. I'm like, woo, look at this and look at this. This is like chock full of goodness right
let alone
here.
it's got some great magical information.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to talk to you about the amazing recipes. I am pretty impressed.
Oh, yeah?
I'm impressed with her meatball recipe and her
Uh-oh.
Sunday gravy.
All right, we got Mary-Grace. Hello, Mary-Grace. We ran a little late.
Hi, Mary-Grace.
I got through. Yay! What do I win?
Oh, my goodness. We'll tell you after the broadcast.
There's surprises.
We have been just combing through this book with all of it's chock full of goodness. What a delicious book you have
It's
here.
fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Mary Grace, seeing you and meeting you and having you sign my book, I was thrilled. I have been waiting for this book to come out, and I'm happy you wrote it.
Leanne wishes she wrote it.
I was a little
I do.
starstruck.
I have to tell you, I wish I wrote it. Oh my God. And I want to also say, I'm very happy you call it Sunday gravy. That's the biggest controversy right now
Oh,
in
yes,
my
big
life.
controversy.
Is it sauce or is it gravy?
What makes it gravy, Leanne?
Because it's from the drippings of meat. A sauce
Exactly.
has no meat. I'm just telling you that. We have meat. We got all the meat.
That's right. So if it's just a tomato sauce, then it's just a tomato sauce. But once you add any of the drippings, it becomes a gravy. Am I right?
That's right.
All right. Yeah. Leanne's always said that. She's always, and so she was so excited to see it in the book. You validated about a million things for Leanne by writing this
Thank you.
book, by the way.
Thank you.
Because you have so many of the same teachings. And I just want to say that there have been a lot of sort of false teachings in the Strega vein over the years. A lot of people have set themselves up as, the leaders of what Italian folk magic or Italian witchcraft looks like, and it's refreshing, and I think particularly gratifying for Leanne to see someone come out and strip all that away and get down to what is actually real Italian magic, and that's what's in this book.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, you don't know. What's a strega to you?
What is Strega to me?
Yeah.
Strega to me is the everyday magic that surrounds our lives, and it encompasses everything, from the coffee we drink in the morning to the food we cook to the taking care of our household and plants and animals. Oh my gosh, especially animals. I love animals.
We do too.
We have
So,
puppies and kitties and all
Yes.
kinds
oh yeah.
of creatures. We love them.
So that's what Strega is. It's incorporated in every aspect of mundane life, and what it does is it injects our mundane lives with magical power and magic, and
I noticed that the first ritual that's gone over here is morning coffee, which we love because we're the tea girls, so we were like morning coffee or tea.
yeah.
And it says one ritual that many of us share is our morning coffee. Every morning, the first thing I do is make my way to my kitchen. I grind the coffee beans, always in espresso roast, and then I put the coffee on. And I think that's so many people do that without thinking. How do you make that a magical event? How do you incorporate a little bit of magic in that? Because that's something anybody listening could actually do for themselves, is incorporate a little bit of magic. How do you do that?
Well, take for instance just the coffee beans, right? Coffee beans are representative of abundance, of prosperity, and so so I meditate on having a good day, a prosperous day, a fruitful day, because especially the word fruitful comes to mind.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And mental clarity from the caffeine, the mental clarity from caffeine.
I'm a decaf drinker, but it's all psychological for me. Like, I need my morning coffee, but it's not really caffeine.
The smell of coffee can wake you up. You don't even have to drink it. It's the smell. It's the little.
I agree.
The little rituals we do every day.
Absolutely.
That's what makes us magic.
The aromatherapy of just the beans grinding, or even just the coffee percolating, right? That's not everyone grinds their beans, but I think more so now because everyone's into the shishi coffee. But the aroma fills the house. It wakes up all the house spirits too, who've been snoozing as well, and it's just, for me, it's very awakening. It's very gets me ready for my day. Having my sipping on my cup of coffee, and just meditating on what my plans are for the day in silence.
Coffee is how, when I was little, I used to bond with my father's mother, my grandma, and we would have coffee. I was a little girl sitting there having coffee, but it was special coffee. There might have been a little anisette in there. Maybe that wasn't a Grace thing. But, they gave me a little anisette, and I was a calmer child.
Oh, no, Leanne, do not downplay it. Let's face it. We went from our mother's milk to espresso coffee.
Yes, we did. I had coffee. I have one grandmother that loved tea, and I have another one that loved coffee.
And see, I was a tea baby. Tea is actually the first line in my baby book under favorite foods. So I was a tea baby, and you were a coffee baby.
I was a coffee baby.
I think that's cute.
I learned to acquire my love of tea. Coffee was, I think, in my bottle. Black coffee.
Yeah.
My mother used to say, "Don't put cream in it; you'll ruin it."
Oh no, yeah, that's right. You don't put, sometimes a little egg, like the little the egg yolk with the sugar.
Oh, yes. I haven't had that.
Beating the little egg yolk with the sugar and then adding the espresso coffee to it, and making it all frothy. And I remember that. That was when I needed rinforzo. So when my aunt or my nonna thought that maybe I was not eating well, or I needed protection against spirits as well as germs.
Yes. My grandmother would run vinegar and garlic on me to protect me from germs.
Oh my God!
And other people too, I think.
Speaking of protection, I think we should discuss the evil eye.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh no!
Oh, I think
evil eye, because we're going to bring Malacca if we talk about the evil eye.
Well, I actually brought one of my protections from my house. I have the big,
I could see it.
I have the big Greek.
Isn't it beautiful?
Look at that! It's the size of a saucer.
Right?
Let's rub it.
Listen, the Greeks don't mess around. Okay.
No.
I'm part Greek. The Greeks don't mess around with that. I think there are a lot of cultures that have specific wards,
I'm watching Leanne stroke it.
specific wards against the evil eye. And you do discuss curses in this book, which I found fascinating. That you do talk about a curse, hex, or jinx is a malediction that is intentionally perpetrated on the victim. But you also give some advice on how to, and this is what was so funny to me, and I was laughing, how to freeze or bind your enemy from doing magic against you. I just want to go on the record to say that I have been accused of having more people in my freezer than food. There have been a few people over the years that I've felt that I needed to chill out,
Sometimes people chill.
and we'll leave it at that.
Cold.
Hey,
You
whatever works, and I
Yes.
find that works.
Yes, and this is an interesting one because it does use a photograph of the enemy. But I will say that there are other object links that can also be very effective. The person's handwriting, hair,
Agreed.
toe and nail clippings. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
And nail clipping.
Just saying. You don't want to leave your DNA links around, ladies and gentlemen. You want to clean up after yourself. Yes.
You get in trouble that way.
Agreed.
But I find that I don't know if you're the same way. I find I don't need to throw a lot of that type of energy around. I just don't feel, in general, I don't feel like I need to quote unquote curse anybody.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't feel that either. But not so much cursing as much as defense, right? And
Sure,
usually
absolutely.
Yes.
Having good wards
You know-
is imperative.
And I'm sure that you have the same experience where what you're doing also is you're assisting other people or teaching other people defense more than probably you have to do it yourself because we've been doing it for so long.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do
Yeah.
you use for protection in your house?
Protection in my house?
Yeah.
Salt. Salt is, above all, number one.
I've got a big box of that kosher salt just waiting to run around my house, throwing salt
Yeah.
on everything.
Salt is portable.
Yes, it is.
It's accessible, it's portable, and really goes undetected. You know what I mean? It is one of those. Salt for me is number one.
They don't detect it in airplanes or
Nope.
other things. So
Yep.
Yeah.
yep.
What do you guys got planned for this trip? There's a lot of TSA talk here.
Yeah. Well,
hey.
sometimes you go. Up
We
in the
know a lot of
sky.
people are getting ready to travel, so we're just giving them ideas.
Mary-Grace, I'm Sicilian, and so I've grown up in Sicilian families, and I know we're emotionally intense, so always not in the most positive way. Can we inadvertently curse somebody, if I can use the word? Can we inadvertently do that without meaning to?
You could definitely inadvertently give someone malakyo.
Yeah.
And all it is just, whether you're thinking about them and you're angry at them and you project that energy. And if they are susceptible, they will absolutely get a headache, indigestion. They may break something that's important to them. Like they may drop something and break something that's important to them. The symptoms of malakya really do run like quite a spectrum, from clumsiness to full blown out anxiety attack. So yes, absolutely, we can unintentionally send that negative energy to someone.
When I was little, my grandmother would hate if her friends overcomplimented me on how I looked or how they thought I was healthy. And then she would spit on me. That would help get away. I'm serious, she would spit on me. Because she felt that they were cursing me with their false sense of compliments or that's she's
You
still
see,
like
did you hear what you just said?
False.
Exactly that.
Sense.
False.
and because she didn't believe or trust anyone. She always, I was always rubbed with all kinds of smelly stuff in her spit too, because that was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing.
Well, to give someone your personal water.
Yeah, and she
That's-
really
that's what
thought
that
she
is,
was
to give someone
sharing
your
with me.
personal water.
She would hold me deeply and say, "You're sick. Breathe your sickness into me." So I would not be sick, but she would take the illness like the egg. Yeah.
I love
Italian grandmothers
hearing,
are so
I
intense.
love hearing about other people's
Yeah, right? Oh
grandmothers.
my God.
It just keeps them alive.
Yes, it does. And that's how do you honor your ancestors? Well, let alone this book, I have to say, wherever your grandmothers are, they are certainly proud of you. That's a fabulous representation of your family and your family's beliefs.
Thank you.
So I teach a class down at HexFest called Amulets and Talismans, and you have chapter 7 in this book called Amulets and Talismans. Imagine that. And there's a long list of all kinds of things that function that way. And I just want to talk, briefly about some of the ones that you have used to specifically ward off the evil eye.
Okay, so you want me to go?
Yeah, if you've specifically got a couple of them that people could use. We're talking. I mean, I don't think everybody wants their grandmother to spit on them. So I'm thinking there must be some other ways that people can, can bounce back from Malocchio.
Well, first and foremost, salt. You
Yeah.
can always put salt in a little pouch. You could sprinkle some in your bra. You can in a shirt pocket. So salt, like I said, accessible, effective, and undetectable. So first is that one.
Do I need
I use
specific
that one.
salt? Can I use processed salt or?
You know what? In a pinch, yeah, I'd use regular, table salt, But I prefer sea salt for
use
the
sea salt.
magical properties, right? Especially, and of course, if we're going to get really, specialists and stuff like that, yeah, Mediterranean sea salt, of course, right? Because Italian or Greek, right?
Right? If you can find it,
So-
yes.
Yeah. So salt above everything else, just because it's accessibility and the fact that it goes undetected, it's great, and it's effective. You can actually feel the energy. It's like a bomb. If you're feeling like negative energy in a room, or even surrounding yourself or other people, I'm sure you've had the experience where you pull out the salt and it's like a bomb. It just blasts it right out. So that's number one. Number two, garlic. A clove of garlic.
Yep.
Nice.
Hanging in front of your front door. That's
Yeah,
in your
like those
kitchen
nice
as well.
those nice braided garlic. That beautiful braided garlic that is very available this time of year where we live, right? Like
Yes.
you can, because first harvest. And hey, first harvest! Yay!
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
And another thing. So there's the garlic, and then there's the corno, right? The little cornicello, which is those
Yes, and that's right.
little red,
That's on the front
red
of your
horns.
book. And some people
Yeah.
hang them from their rear view mirrors. You see those
Oh my
a lot
gosh,
hanging
yes.
from the rear view mirror, right? I noticed that you
I love
also
those.
have Manufica and also
Yeah.
Cornuto on the front cover of the book. And I actually
Yes.
wear both of those. I have pendants of both of those. Even though
that's
I'm
great.
not Italian, but I actually have a beautiful Manufica carved out of solid opal.
That's gorgeous.
That's an antique piece that I picked up in an antique shop in Salem when I was probably 25 years old. So,
Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah,
I
it's one
love
of my
those.
treasures. It's definitely one of my treasures. I'll have to show it to you. I'll take a picture and I'll email it to you, or I'll
Okay,
message
yeah, I'd
you
love
that.
to see it.
Yeah, and I have the little sterling silver, the Cornuto that I actually have one left actually that I'm bringing to HexFest.
excellent. Maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah, we call that throwing the horns. That's throwing
Exactly.
the horns in rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, right. That's
Ronnie
right.
James
I was just going to say that.
He
yeah.
must have been Italian, right?
Oh, he must have been.
That's the
think it
reference I
was.
didn't expect today.
Yeah.
Ronnie James Dio.
Ronnie James Dio.
Well,
yeah.
you forgot you had a rock and roll chick sitting
That's
here,
right.
Lou.
Yeah.
You forgot you had a girl that fronts two bands.
Still, that's a stretch.
Not really.
Another amulet, which is very Sicilian, and also, unless you know what it is, goes pretty much undetected, is wearing a red string
Yes.
on your wrist.
On your wrist.
On your
yes.
wrist.
And that was
Yeah.
popular because of the Kabbalah too. Am I right? There was a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
crossover there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people, that study the Kabbalah that are wearing that same red ribbon or cord, or sewing. I'm trying to think of the name for it. It's embroidery thread.
Yeah, embroidery fluff.
Well,
Yeah.
it's also the color red is a strong protection. It just the fire of Mars.
Absolutely.
Just pushing
I was going to say
against it.
vibrating to Mars,
Yeah.
which unfortunately is retrograde, but
It's fantastic. Some of the babies in my family I know were placed with I think back in the 70s we had on our underwear a little
Yeah.
red string on diapers of babies and on anywhere you can't see bra stripes. They pin it. It just keeps that color red just pushes back any kind of negativity somebody wants to toss your way.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, you could even just stitch a little red thread into the inside of all your clothing, which is what my aunts used to do, especially like when it's for babies.
Yes, the pins would be dangerous.
Yep. You want to pin you want to pin it to the back of the diaper where the baby can't get at it.
Yeah,
It doesn't pay
Yeah.
attention to it,
that's terrific.
So I also wanted to touch upon some of the saint magic that you discuss in the book. I know Leanne works with the saints as well, and she teaches a class on it.
Absolutely.
And one of the ones that bleeds over even into Irish households is Saint Anthony, finder of lost objects. I can't tell you how many people I know who are not Italian in the least that pray to Saint Anthony to find something when they lose it. How do you think?
Yeah,
how do you
same
think
here.
How do you think that wound up crossing so many boundary lines? The Saint Anthony story.
Well, I think when it comes to people that are Irish, I think that they're crossed over with the Catholicism. But when you talk about people who aren't Catholic, they had somewhere along the line they had a Catholic friend who suggested it to them, and they probably don't even know where it came from. And it gets results. The power of Saint Anthony, because
is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. And it's because we believe and we constantly call upon him that spirit, the power of that spirit just grows and grows and grows. And that is my belief, that the more we call upon a spirit to assist us, the more they participate in our lives, the more
Absolutely.
present and the more accessible they are.
We feed them energy.
Yes.
Absolutely. We feed them energy.
And the more
And-
studying of St. Anthony, the stronger he gets. I find that he helps people find relationships. Yes, he's a great husband-wife finder. You're looking for love. St. Anthony just won't help you find your keys in the morning. He'll also help you find, a partner to share this great world with.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Or a
If
parking
you're
space.
having a medical crisis, or I remember when my first daughter was born, she had jaundice. I'm like a new mom.
Oh my God.
I had no guidance because the reason I wrote the book was everyone was getting older and a lot of people were already gone. And my doctor sends me to the hospital, and then it's the middle of the night. My child is jaundiced. They're telling me I got to put her under these lights, and I don't know what's going on. Even though I'm a nurse, I'm not a baby nurse, so I don't know what's. I was so confused and so afraid, and I called upon St. Anthony, and he told me, "Get your kid and go home."
Wow.
And that's what I did. Because I had, I have a relationship with St. Anthony. I trusted him above the doctors, above the nurses, and what I was told I needed to do. I bundled up my kid. I signed her out, took her home. She was fine.
Wow.
Fantastic. That's a miracle.
So, St. Anthony, big, really big. Anything you need to find, any kind of guidance. And again, because we're constantly in contact with this spirit, people around the world are constantly in contact with this saint. He's interactive, he's present, he's powerful, he's accessible, and big. I always recommend St. Anthony to find anything, even if it's just to figure out what to do.
And his feast day is at the end of this month. And
that's huge.
And it is huge down in our, north end.
In the north end of Boston, baby.
Of Boston. And I'm hoping to attend the feast this year. I've missed it several years. And it's just a gorgeous sight to see that saint come out and all the history and the magic through the streets.
Do they throw Mary out the window or something?
Oh, okay. So
What's
that's for the
going on?
fisherman's feast.
Oh.
They throw a child out the window.
Oh.
She is safely strung up very high in the sky, and she descends upon Boston in the north end when the Madonna reaches the center of the square, and the child comes and she speaks in Latin. She blesses the oceans that give us food. She blesses the people of Boston and the people who protect Boston, our police officers and our firefighters. And then the child is hoisted back up.
Yeah, then we
and
pull her back in the window.
Then they pull her back in the window. It's
Wow.
fantastic.
Wow.
And you know what?
Oh, fantastic!
Oh, you would
yeah.
love it. And then you can hear
You
very
have to come down
quietly.
for
You
this.
have to come down, and we will have really great gravy, and we'll have a little food, and we'll have a lot of wine, and we will listen in the background as they sing to Diana. It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness!
What's your relationship with the Madonna? Do you still hold her? I do.
I do.
I do too.
I have.
Yes.
I do. I do. It's probably. I'm sure it's very different from.
Yes.
From Well, like in my book, I talk about how everyone has a different relationship with the Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I do. I do have a very close relationship with the Madonna.
I do as well.
I think it's because I lost my mom. I lost my foster mom. So I've been motherless for a long time. So she's taken that role, and she stepped in, and she's there. And I do have a relationship with her.
It's beautiful.
I do too. Yeah, I have a small shrine to her in my house. I was raised by Irish Catholics, so which I always joke that Catholicism is the doorway to the craft. But I still find her to be a
I don't
very
think that's a joke. I think that's true. I actually
So
agree
true.
with that 100%.
so true. That's what makes it funny. Is because it's true.
Yeah,
But
it's true.
But I definitely see her as a very soothing energy. Have you ever visited the 35-foot Madonna over in East? It's in East Boston, right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
right just past Revere.
Dawn Oreo's nursing home
Yeah.
is up there. It's the top of.
I have to show
I
you.
have. It was many years
okay.
ago, but yes, I have.
I was going to say, just recently I was there and it was open so you could literally walk right up, and it was just an
You could walk
unbelievable.
right
You could
up.
walk right
Yeah.
up, and I was just like, oh my God! I took so much pictures and videos that day. My husband was flying to Philadelphia that morning. I dropped him at the airport, and I drove over by myself to go and ask her to protect him. And I went up there, and all the gates were open, and I could walk right up onto where the stairs were to lead right up to her. And I was just blown away because I've never made it in that far, and I felt like that was her telling me, I'm welcoming you in, and he's going to be just fine, which of course he was. So
We'll have to go.
Oh,
at Christmas.
yeah,
They open it up at Christmas,
absolutely.
and they have a whole
Oh,
spectacular light.
oh my God, I will have to do
Yes.
that because I love that image of her so very much. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful image of her, just incredible, standing on the world, just so beautiful. I also wanted to touch on. You talk a lot about the dead in this book, which is great because we do a lot of work with the dead, obviously, Leanne and I,
Yes.
Festival of the Dead. And you have an incantation to dream of the deceased. And we're actually about to teach a class where we're going to talk about how to meditate and do things to try to kind of use your dreams and capture your dreams and have prophetic dreams. And we talk about visits from the dead in dreams. And I wanted to talk a little bit with you about that. Now, where did you get this incantation? How did you come across? Was this taught to you in your family, or was this?
Yeah, it really was just something that my aunt who raised me, because I was raised by a couple of, I was raised by my aunt and uncle, and my parents were still around in the periphery, but I was really raised by my aunt and uncle, and that was something that she did regularly, and that's who I got it from. And
It works.
yeah,
I've done it.
yeah, it works.
It works.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I have. When I've done it. My grandmother, on my mother's side, my Nana used to do dream interpretations, and I frequently lucid dream. So that worked phenomenally, and if anyone else out there works with the dead or is a medium, like myself, this has actually brought with me, when I go to work, I have a lot more strength in my mediumship readings. I have a lot more defined visions, and it stems from the sleep I'm getting at night. Because I believe that when we sleep, that's when our soul does travel, and it is easier because we're vibrating at a different level to communicate with the dead, and that that helped. That did That was a fantastic evening new ritual for me.
So you would do this right before bed, basically.
I added some of
quick
the
and
in
easy.
it. I infused myself in my regular routine. I have added some crystals, I was telling Sandra, over my bed space. But just saying that before I fell asleep, sitting on the edge of my bed, actually helped me retain, remember, and feel even closer to my dead. Last night I had a dream of them as well.
Oh, wait a second. I misspoke. That was my mom who taught me that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, that was my mom, and my mom was an orphan. So, so I got the education about the dead are still around us, like really, really young.
So explain what she was. You said something that I'm not sure.
My mom was she was a World War II orphan.
Oh.
My mom was from northern Italy. Well, at the time it was Yugoslavia. That part of Italy was Yugoslavia. Now it's Croatia, and she was orphaned at the age of 5.
Wow.
During World War II. So my earliest memories with my mom was always talking about the dead, and that the dead are not gone. They surround us. We just can't see them. And that was and I misspoke. That wasn't my aunt. That was my mom that taught me that incantation.
It's beautiful.
I love it. And it's easy enough for people to incorporate something like that if they're hoping to spend a little dream time with somebody that's passed over. I have had some very real feeling dreams where somebody that I loved very deeply came to me in the dream, and I remember hugging them in the dream, and it was so real. So real. Like, I didn't realize I was dreaming in that moment. I was completely 100% feeling like it was real life. That's how real it was. It was so tangible. Everything was it was just as real as I'm sitting here right now. It was that real. Hugging the person felt that real. And so anybody that's missing somebody that would like to try to have a dream where they actually get to spend time, feeling like that person is physically with them again instead of just sort of spiritually with them again, I would recommend picking up the book and using that. And there's a lot of different things in the book that I feel like, people, you don't have to be Italian to do these things at all, I feel like...
I just want to go back. You gave me goosebumps. When you're talking about your real experience with contacting someone who's passed, who's dead.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was so real. It was just as real as I'm sitting here. It was, and it in the moment it felt, like I don't know, like it felt like I was in another space and time. It wasn't
Yeah,
dream. Didn't
like
have,
there is no time
didn't
and
have a
space.
dreamlike quality. It and some of my dreams, everything looks a little kind of fuzzy along the edges, I guess you could
Yeah.
say, and it has
Yeah.
that kind of not sharp. Like I'm looking at the keyboard and it's it's the keyboard. There's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like in that dream, everything was so sharp. It was so real, and everything I touched, I could feel everything. Sometimes when I'm in a dream, I've had dreams before where I wanted to punch somebody in the face, and I'm
can't.
punching as hard as I can, and it's like there's nothing there.
Yeah, and they laugh at you.
Yeah, it's just like there's nothing there. So
terrible.
in this particular dream, everything I could touch everything. Everything felt real. Everything was
Everything
tangible.
was solid.
Yeah, everything was
That's
solid. It was just
fantastic.
wild.
Those
Absolutely
dreams,
wild.
in some of my dreams, when I dream of my grandmother, she's always cooking, and I'm always telling her I'm on a diet. And then she looks at me very dry, and she goes, "Shut up, eat it. You're dreaming, and I'm dead." And then I wake up.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Grandma, for those.
I love that.
Oh my
Oh my god.
There's no
I could
there's
talk
no
about
calories
this all
in
day
dreams.
long.
That's what
I
she was
know,
telling me.
and we actually have to go. It's very unfortunate. We've enjoyed very much having you as a guest. You've been a fantastic guest, and I want to continue our conversations.
Yes, Mary Grace, we will talk again.
We like you so
Thank you for today.
I want to
Well,
announce.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. I just want to announce our next guest, Byron Ballard. She is a Western North Carolina native, teacher, folklorist, and writer. And she's a senior priestess and co-founder of Mother Grove Goddess Temple in Asheville, North Carolina. She's going to talk to us all about hillbilly hoodoo. So we're going to do a different kind of folk magic. So join us next month, first Thursday of the month, guys, 9 a.m. Take care, everybody.
We'll let you know how Hexfest is.